Beneath by Roland Smith. Part 3. The Deep. Chapter 35. The dog's name was Bouncer, a mutt, about 20 pounds, with smoky gray fur and a docked tail vibrating madly upon seeing Kate. She undid the rope, and Bouncer demonstrated how he got his name. "Okay," she said, "we're outside. What's going on?" I had to keep bobbing and weaving so Bouncer couldn't lick my face. "I'll explain while we get ready." Kate handed me the flashlight I had given her from Coop's shelf. She caught Bouncer in mid-bounce and flipped him onto his back. He didn't seem to mind. She pulled her sweatshirt off and put it on the dog. It was too big for him. He looked embarrassed. "We'll have to make some alterations. Do you have a knife?" I had a brand new knife. I handed it to her. She cut the sleeves off so Bouncer wouldn't stumble over them with his front paws. "What are you doing?" "Making a decoy." She cut the sleeves into strips and used them to tie the sweatshirt around Bouncer's front legs and stomach. "That should hold. We'll let him get used to it for a couple of minutes." Bouncer started running around in circles, getting used to it. "I was shocked to see you arrive at the community. Coop said that you had claustrophobia." I was shocked that Coop had told her that he had a brother who had claustrophobia. "He told me about the tunnel you and he dug. He said the collapse was all his fault and that he shouldn't have taken you down there. He did most of the digging, and I was nervous about the tunnel before it collapsed, and if it wasn't for Coop, I'd be dead. What's going on between you and Coop?" Her pale skin flushed red. She looked away. That was all the answer I needed. Coop had a girlfriend. Or a girl who liked him a lot, which would not be the first. I wondered if he felt the same way about her, which would be the first, unless I had missed one or two while he was gone. Bouncer seemed to have gotten used to his ridiculous-looking costume. He sat at Kate's feet, panting. "Go top, and stay." Bouncer jumped up, did an airborne 180, and vanished into the darkness. "What's all that about?" "Bouncer is one of our top dogs. We use them to find our way up from the deep. I trained him." "Then you've been to the top?" She smiled and said dramatically, in a pretty good imitation of May, "I may have seen the sun and the moon and the sky." I laughed. I saw why Coop might like her. She had the same weird sense of humor he did. "So everything May and the others said about the pod is wrong?" "Not everything." She looked at me for a moment. "I haven't even asked if you want to do this with me." "Find Coop? That's why I came down here." "I know, but you probably didn't expect all this." "When you have a brother like Coop, you learn to expect the unexpected." She waved the flashlight around. I meant this," she said. The beam barely penetrated the blackness. "I'm not afraid of the dark." "That's not what I mean. How'd you do on the way down here?" "I was blindfolded." Kate stared at me. "I had a little problem when I squeezed through the entrance. After that, I was okay." "Before you decide to come with me, let me tell you what you're in for. Pretty soon, the dogs are going to show up here. Big dogs. Vicious dogs." "Killer dogs?" "Not quite, but close enough. If they get you cornered and you try to run away, they'll draw blood. We call them seekers. They don't get out much, which makes them all the more aggressive when they do get out. They get so excited during the chase, they're hard to control." "Who do they chase?" "People who leave the deep." "You can't leave?" "Not permanently, not alone, and not without Laud's permission. You can only leave if you have official deep business beneath or on top. To make sure people return to the deep, we are always accompanied by a shadow. Deep security people. They are there to protect the pod and to keep an eye on them. If someone gets away, the shadow is in as much trouble as the person who got away from them. But no one has ever gotten away." "Never?" An odd look crossed her face. "No," she said, "and very few people have tried." "What happens when they get caught?" "I'll tell you later. Right now you have to decide whether you're going with me. By now, Laud has discovered that I'm gone. He's coming with the Seekers and the Shadows. When they get here, they are going to give the community a rude awakening. They will question and intimidate them. Hopefully the Seekers will pick up my scent on Bouncer, assume that I'm headed to the top, and follow." She pointed the flashlight to a ledge of concrete about 4 feet above our heads. There is enough space for us to hide up there, but it will be a tight fit. Tight. It will probably take them 15 minutes to search the community and figure out I'm not here. When they continue to the top, we'll drop down and backtrack along their route for a while. Then we'll take a detour. This is where you might have a problem. What kind of problem? A claustrophobic problem. The route we're taking is going to be hard for you. Maybe impossible. I'm smaller than you, and it's hard for me. Laud and the shadows could never squeeze through there. Squeeze. My chest tightened. Why can't we just go down the way they came up? Time. The detour will save us hours. Hours. How long does it usually take to get to the deep? From here, if you hurry and know the way, 12 hours minimum. It will take Laud and the shadows a couple of hours to reach the top and find Bouncer, 14 hours to get back to the deep. Using the detour will give us a 10-hour lead, and we'll need every minute of it to get to the deep, free Coop, and head back up a different route. Coop is too big to fit through the detour. That didn't sound good. Coop isn't that much bigger than I am, or at least he wasn't when he left. Why don't we just go down to the detour right now and start down? Because I have to know how many Seekers and Shadows Laud has with him, so I know how many he's left behind. If I know how many he has with him and who they are, I'll know where Laud will station the others and how many are back at the compound. To get to the top, we'll have to get around them. How do you know all this? Because I'm one of them. I'm a shadow.